West Ham might be getting a bid of €100 million from a Saudi-based football club for winger Mohammed Kudus. Now, I don't know whether you consider that information to be good news or bad news, but it is certainly a little bit different from some of the news we've been delivering over recent days. I had a post on yesterday's video, and it said, why are all the videos... Well, it's sincere. Why are almost all of the videos on this channel are depressing recently? And they are. And I apologise for that. I really do. But I'm not making this stuff up, unfortunately. And I had to do quite a depressing reply, which was that, you know, we've gone to the bottom of the league, or about as far as we can drop. We're pretty much skint at the moment. There seems to be a load of infighting behind the scenes. Our summer star striker has come out and publicly criticised at least his teammates. It may have been the manager. We don't know if that's the case yet. Got a new manager who's really struggling, and if he carries on how he started, we'll probably finish the season with a sort of worse win ratio than anybody that you thought was crap in the past, be it Zola or Avram Grant or Glenn Roeder or anybody like that. And so that's not particularly good either. We're looking at like our record ever signing is either going to leave or he's either going to be banned for life. We don't seem to have a sort of infrastructure at the club at the moment, having sacked our director of football. I mean, where do you want to go? We've got... I said, unfortunately, I probably shouldn't have mentioned this, but I said other clubs like Bournemouth, Brighton, anyone else beginning with B, Aston Villa sort of have left us behind, and it wasn't too long ago that we were above all of those clubs. I think I cited our training ground complex compared to Bournemouth. I did this list of stuff, and I said that's why it is depressing at the moment, and it really is. And one of the biggest issues we have at the moment is we don't really have any money, because we've spent money really badly. We signed 9 players in the summer for £150 million. You might make a case that 2 of them have been good. You might. You're not going to do much better than that. As a result of that, we haven't got much money. So maybe this is good news with Mohammed Kudus. Because if somehow West Ham can get €100 million for Mohammed Kudus, we'll bite their arm off. The source of the information is Ben Jacobs, who is a commentator for TalkSPORT, as I understand it. And he has said that the Saudi club Al-Nassr have shortlisted Kudus, Mitoma, Semenyo and Luis Díaz. Now, there is some validity to this, because I didn't even know this until I actually did the preview with Gio ahead of the Brighton game. And that was that the same club had bid £90 million for Mitoma very recently, I guess in January. And they turned it down. Brighton turned it down. Well, I tell you now, West Ham will not turn that down. Because really what West Ham have been hoping for was a bit of a bidding war. Mohammed Kudus has got a buyout clause that's active for 2 weeks. Well, tell a lie, he's got 3 buyout clauses. One for £80 million, and that is to European clubs. £85 million for a Premier League club. And as I understand, it's £120 million to a Saudi club. Now, the £85 million was never happening. Last season, maybe. And you've got to remember, Kudus was really close to leaving in January. He was basically, unofficially put up for sale in December. Bowen got injured, Antonio had his misfortune, and Fulkrug was injured, so they just couldn't sell him. But he would have been off if a decent bidder had come in. And back then, 85 million seemed very realistic. But he's had such a bad season. Fisticuffs, handbags with Mickey van der Ven. Handbags, more fisticuffs with Julian Lopetegui, allegedly. In fact, he scored 2 goals under Lopetegui. He scored no goals under Potter. He has seen his value depreciate. The biggest favour we've done recently, I think, was Arne Slot saying, "Oh, he's unplayable." He wasn't. But Arne Slot said he was unplayable, which was really nice. I don't know what it is about Liverpool managers that I think they feel the need to compliment a West Ham player. Was it Jurgen Klopp said he thought Bowen was the best player, his favourite player that wasn't at Liverpool? I think Arne Slot may have done us a little favour with that one. And as a result, Liverpool were rumoured to be interested. Arsenal were rumoured to be interested, and Chelsea. At Chelsea, I believe, that's sign anyone. They just seem to be able to pull money out of a hat, don't they? The rules don't apply to Chelsea, and I don't mind. I hate the rules. I hate the FFP rules, by the way. I'm just sort of making a joke. I thought, if West Ham were allowed to spend money, actually, I still don't think we'd spend money, to be fair. Because didn't Chelsea sell their own training ground back to themselves? I mean, if we really wanted to spend money, we could do that, right? Kretinsky could do that. Sullivan could do that. Anyway. I think West Ham were hoping that maybe Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, they all have a little bidding war, and it goes towards 80 million. But it wouldn't have been there. Maybe they'll start to bid at 50 and it gets up to 65 million. That would have been good. This stuff, 100 million euros beyond their wildest dreams. Beyond their wildest dreams, absolutely. This could make a massive difference. This could make West Ham's summer. It really could, because money's so tight. Before we discuss that any further, today's video is sponsored by, the logo is up there. Well, one of them says Surfshark. Well, that's not me dancing. One of them says ETC Sports. They're both equally lovely. Surfshark or a VPN. You're going to need a VPN to encrypt and protect the device you're watching this video on. If you haven't got a VPN, you need to bloody get one. If you get the one off Surfshark, we can do you a deal. Got a nice little deal for you. 4 months. 4 months for free. 30-day money-back guarantee. Sorted. You do need a VPN. It's frightening how much stuff, personal stuff, that you probably used to keep it in a safe, like your banking book and stuff like that. Your passwords only you knew. Your PIN number only you knew. Your phone knows all this stuff. Probably so's your laptop. Everything knows it. And if you are out on a public Wi-Fi or out on 5G, even, whisper it quietly, even your broadband provider has permission to look at what you're doing. They probably don't, but you're not safe from any of this stuff. Get a layer of protection. Get a bit of Surfshark. We've got a discount code for you. Hammers Chat, all one word. The link in the description below. Surfshark.com/Hammers Chat. Go and check it out. Please do. By the way, when you sign up, it doesn't just cover one device, not just your mobile phone. It will cover your mobile phone, your tablet, your laptop, your computer, your Fire Stick. Just one account, and you can cover all your devices. Link is in the description below. Making West Ham summer. It's been one of the depressing things, going back to the start of the video, has been, you might get £15 million for Souček. You might get a little bit for him. You might get a little bit for him. It doesn't add up to much. If I reeled off a list of players that West Ham would like to get rid of, you'd be even more depressed. Maybe you'd be happy. I think when you started seeing some of the players that you don't think are any good, you'd be quite pleased. I think by the time we got to the 16th player, you'd probably think, hold on a minute. Hold on. We're going to need some players. We haven't got any players. I mean, it is that bad. It is that bad. I could sit here and make a case for any of them. All the defence could be gone. The only reason Kilman won't be is because he's on too high wages. I don't particularly think that he's fancied by Graham Potter. I almost said Graham Souness. Then maybe he's not fancied by Graham Souness either. There's a lot of players there who Potter wants out, and we're handicapped by that massively. That's not the time to talk about Potter or McCauley or any of that stuff. Just as a club that needs to have an overhaul, the whole midfield needs to go. We definitely need more strikers. Defence needs sorting out, and the goalkeeper. But aside from that, we're all right. The rest of the departments. Massive shout out to the under-18s. 2-1 against Reading. Massive shout out. The Premier League Cup. It is fantastic. Despite everything being crap at West Ham, the academy are going through something of a purple patch. And I have heard It would be unfair for me to pick out one player, but I have heard very, very good reports about one player in particular. If you haven't seen the game, it's it's on YouTube. You can actually go and see it on the West Ham website. Go and check that out. Really good, really good. Though that'll leave you feeling a bit good about West Ham. But anyway, once you realise quite how much of a building job's got to be done, you're going to realise we need money. We really are going to need money. And 100 million euros is going to be a massive boost. The thing about the Saudi Pro League is they're not restricted by a lot. They're not FFP or PSR. They're basically whichever one, both, either, or. So Premier League or UEFA. Saudi, they can do what they want. They can spend what they want. So the really good thing about that is if anyone that can make a big sale to Saudi is going to really benefit as well, because you're not going to get this thing of you could negotiate pretty quickly and not have to have it spread over 5 years. You could get, I'm guessing you could get all of your money at once, couldn't you? Or at least in 2 or 3 payments. At least do what we did with Declan Rice. Get the money paid over 18 months. That gives you real financial flexibility. Really does. And then that takes the pressure off somebody else. Then everything else is just adding to it. I'm not sure we want to sell a Gerd, but if you were, it doesn't matter if you don't get the 25, you can get the 20 million for Gerd. It just goes into the kitty, it just goes into the pot. This all really helps. Ideally, I've got to say, I don't want to. The reason I sort of hesitated at the start, I don't want to sound too happy about selling Kudus. I think Kudus is a really good player. And I think wherever he goes, he's going to do really well. And I guess at least if he goes to Saudi, I won't see it. That's something. I mean, it's hard. It's hard with Declan, isn't it? As I mentioned, I was actually pleased for him with his double free kick. Arsenal are probably the club. Well, not probably. They are the club I like least in the Premier League. So it's difficult to see him go there. But I was pleased for him. I had admiration for him. Fair play, Dec. You know what I mean? He was. But it's still hard. It's really, really hard to watch him do well. And it's in your face, isn't it? It's in your face a bit. I think maybe I didn't mind that because it was in Europe and that was fine. But, anyway. I think if he goes away, then, you don't see him if he's away in Saudi. But ideally, I'd like to keep him. We're just not in a position to. We should never have been in this position. We should have been adding to this. Let's be fair. The horse has bolted. We should have been adding players. We should have been adding players when Rice was really starting to come to the fore, when Jesse Lingard was. We should have. I know it didn't work out for him, but ultimately in the rest of his career. But there was a real position then. We looked like a good team, and it was a real chance to strengthen. And we didn't grasp that opportunity. I don't think West Ham are particularly good at recognising opportunity when it arrives. But we've got one now. Well, we got more than one. But that would be to turn things negative again. But we got opportunities to make change, and 100 million euros really, really helps, particularly now. Not 20 million now, 20 million next year, 20 million a year after. No, 100 million now. So reluctantly, with regret, like Alan Sugar, with regret, I would. It's the funny thing. So in this Ben Jacobs piece, he wrote, Al-Nassr are confident that they can persuade West Ham to accept 100 million euros. I'm not surprised they're confident. I'm not saying. I mean, honestly, they would bite their arm off. West Ham would give one of their arms. Honestly, you can have Kudus. That's it. We probably got some players you couldn't give away, but yeah, all we got to do is somehow persuade the Saudis. I don't know if we can do that. Not to go for Mitoma, not to go for Díaz, not to go for Semenyo, and to go for Mohammed Kudus. I mean, that would be something. In many respects, we wouldn't deserve it because I think our organisation, our planning, the mess the club is in, we need luck. That's what we need. There's no strategy. There's no infrastructure at the club. The infrastructure's gone. Literally the cupboard is bare. Tim Stein was meant to be building this stuff. I mentioned it before. Aston Villa, Emery's got 29 analysts. 29 hand-appointed analysts. We are so, and as I mentioned, look at what Bournemouth are doing with their resource centre and their training ground, and people are spending £50 million on buildings and data centres and training ground and stuff. We're still in porter cabins. We need luck, and this would be a massive stroke of luck, and it would be the sort of luck that would dig us out of a hole. And probably, as long as we were quite wise with our spending, there's no guarantee of that, because we've got a couple of people in charge who've never bought players before. They're learning on the job. But it would give us the sort of money, if added to the other money we got, and hopefully keeping players like Wan-Bissaka and Bowen, can't think of any others, give us enough quality that we still would be better than the clubs that are getting promoted. There'd be enough of a gap there. Still a lot to happen. It might just be a rumour, but it was a good rumour, and it was a positive one. And look, I wouldn't know Ben Jacobs if he walked past me in the street. I honestly wouldn't. But he's got 350,000 Twitter followers, and that's got to count for something, right?